Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first Facebook Live. It's the 7th of February and the start of CHD Awareness Week. My name is Simran Sagar, and I am the Operations Director at Genesis Foundation. Today, we have with us Priyal, who is part of the Aara Project. Before we get into an introduction, let's just wait for a few more people to join. Hi, Priyal.
Hi, thank you, Simran. Thank you, Simran, for the introduction. Yes, let's wait. I hope a lot of our friends, family, and people are watching this. It would be
Yes.
interesting to create the CHD awareness.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Yep. So let's perhaps start.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Priyal, it's truly special to be having this conversation with you today for many, many reasons. And like I said, we are starting with Congenital Heart Defects Awareness Week. Just a brief introduction from my side. Priyal and her husband Anami support our foundation, Genesis Foundation, with fundraising through the Aara Project, regardless of which part of the world that they're in. It's truly inspirational. And today is a special day for us because it's a week that kicks off a lot of awareness activities around congenital heart defects. And it is an unforgettable day for both Priyal and Anami, which Priyal will talk more about as we do this Facebook Live. And please stay tuned, hear her whole story. It's truly inspiring. And yeah, so thank you so much for being with us all the way from Paris. I acknowledge that this is not an easy topic for you. And just the fact that you're here with us today and sharing your story with a lot of families who are tuning in for this really means a lot to us. So over to you, Priyal.
Thank you, Simran. Well, the pleasure, honor, I don't know the right word for it, is all mine and ours, Anami and mine both. Uh, yes, I would honestly admit that it is not an easy day. It's a very emotional day for us, being my daughter's birthday, but I have to overcome all those emotions and feelings to carry her vision or purpose forward. Ever since she was born and the entire journey, we have always believed rather, that she'd come to our life for a purpose, and we want to carry her purpose forward with the Ara project. And it is ironical, yet very important that her birthday coincides with the CHD awareness week, because we as parents can honestly put forth and share that how little is known as far as the heart defects in children concerned. It is We were caught completely unaware ever since we got to know about it. It was a minefield of information and knowledge that was thrown on us, which is completely we if I were to sort of give you a little bit of a uh, weird insight, that I remember when I was as a journalist, I started my career. My first story
Mhm,
was with regard to child insurance that were available in India. And
mhm,
the only thing that I knew about CHD was that they are not, they're excluded. So if a child has a CHD, you do not get the child insurance cover. And that is all I could think or know when I got to know that my daughter has a similar issue. But of course, after that, and even as we speak right now, there is a huge gap of information. People do not know what really CHD is, even the parents. It takes
yeah,
a lot of time. There's a whole gamut of world as far as the child cardiology is concerned. And
yeah,
and yes, as we say, the more the more awareness that we can do is better, because there is absolutely very little, especially in India. And so therefore I have to overcome all my emotional barriers to
Yeah.
make sure, I if I'm able to save one little heart
Yeah.
with this awareness, then I'll be really happy, and I think my daughter's legacy would carry on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Would you like to share with us a little bit on what made you start the ARA project with Genesis Foundation?
Well, that's an important question, and really is the essence of how we came about this. Ara could not live through her first birthday, and that was primarily because of a very rare condition that she was born with. But that's not the case with most of the children. Most of CHD kids have an opportunity to live through after their corrective surgery. It may be
Mm-hmm.
just one corrective surgery, or it may be a couple of them. But there is a scope, and if we still have very limited figures as far as CHD is concerned, but there is still a figure of a 90% chances that a child with a CHD can sort of have a near to normal life if given a medical treatment and at a right time. So there are a lot of ifs, but there is a possibility and hope out there. And
Yeah.
while we were with our daughter for 4 months in the hospital, we realized that while it's a very, very emotionally draining experience, it's really hard on parents and, of course, the child, and you wouldn't know how your child is feeling. It's a few month old baby. All that
Yeah.
the child can do is cry, and that's it, and cannot tell you that, okay, you do this or you don't do this. I mean, you don't really know what's happening with your child. But as far as most of the parents and whole host of parents and families that we met during our journey had same emotional issues, but on top of it they had a whole lot of financial issues.
Yeah.
And that's where we realized it's not a very uh, easy surgery or process that happens in terms of costs. And while my husband and I and our families combined together were able to be huge financial support to us all through, but the money bills were just running.
Yeah.
And we realized that we didn't have one thing to worry about. That was really taken over by our families and from our savings. But
Yeah.
as far as other kids are concerned or other families are concerned, that was a huge challenge. That's where Genesis came into the picture, because I saw the work Genesis was doing in those 4 months. I mean, we were personally looking at raising funds for a few children, or there were families who would come and ask, knowing very well that our own kid is inside the
Mm-hmm.
ICU, but
Mm-hmm.
they wanted us to sort of help and assist and find out where to, because they thought that we were more aware, we had more access.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down to look at it. Initially, there was nothing. And gradually, when my days in the hospital increased or spent more time, I used to see Genesis team there. And of
And
course,
that's where you met where you met us for the first
yes,
time. Yeah.
yes, that's when our first meeting with Genesis team happened. And
Yeah.
coupled with the fact that as far as my husband and I, and Jyoth and Prema are doyens as far as these fields are concerned, respectively. So we'd already known,
Mm.
the work that they have done, the
Yeah.
institutions that they have carried forward,
Yeah.
and so there was this comfort in there. I remember. Prema reached out to me when my daughter passed away, and it touched me immensely. She didn't have to, but she
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and that sort of helped us talk about it and give us the platform to carry our vision forward, because we were very clear, even when our daughter was in the hospital, that we have to do something about
To help other
assisting and helping.
families. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And when did you get to know that Ara had a congenital heart defect? Was it after she was born, or yeah, if you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yes, that's a very important question. Again, with light to the awareness, I would like to share that we did not know during the course of my pregnancy
Okay.
that she has a heart issue. We got to know, I got to know 2 days later, but my husband got to know on the very day she was born.
Okay.
Thankfully, and which is a very rare situation, that the doctor who was attending to us
Mhm.
realized that she did not have uh, the apt oxygen levels.
Okay.
And so my husband on day zero, I don't know how he managed to do it, but on day zero took our daughter from the nursing home to a bigger or larger hospital to know what is really wrong, what has
Yeah.
happened, because
Yeah.
the nursing home has had no such equipments. And that brings me to two important aspects. One is as far as detection is concerned and screening is concerned. That
Mm.
also is something that goes missing a lot. Now, first fact is that above 35 years of age, most of the countries now have a norm that the ecogram or fetal ecogram is a part of the process. What does that mean? It's basically checking the heart of the child as to how it is while you're pregnant. And
Okay.
while globally there have been even surgeries or interventions taken place in the fetus,
Yeah.
so it all varies. Okay, so one would say that, what if you, because this happens around 20th 21st week, and one would say that what would happen thereafter.
Like, what
You know,
would you
you
do
will
next if you find
you
out?
will be so, yes, you will be so stressed out about
Yeah.
your rest of the pregnancy and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a reality, but what happens in the process is, like in my case, we could have probably chosen a hospital which would have the facility to take care of her, or because there are some children who need immediate attention in few hours, they need to go into surgery. There
Surgery.
are
Yeah.
some which will take a year, there are some even longer. It's all depends on how symptomatic they are.
Yeah.
But it will allow you to make informed choice.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would say that the fetal ecogram and screening is very important, because most often than not, and what I heard in actual life cases, that a lot of people went home after the delivery, they did not know anything, and then later realized at a very closer stage when the situation became little tougher, that the child has a certain issue. And at that time you sometimes lose the opportunity for giving
Yeah.
chance to your child to live. And so therefore these are also very important aspects that needs awareness.
Yeah. So early diagnosis and early intervention, basically. Okay.
Yes.
So after the detection, there must have been a lot of challenges because you became a mom for the first time. I mean, me being a mother, I know being a mom, like it's hard. You kind of, like you said, no matter how many books you read, nothing kind of prepares you for it except for just doing what you have to do. But you must have faced a lot of challenges looking after and nurturing a newborn which who had a critical illness. So can you maybe speak about some of the challenges that you were faced with and perhaps Anami was faced with at that time?
Biggest challenge, to begin with, there is so little information, yet you're always confused where is the right source of information to, where is the first step that you need to take in terms of finding out what is, where to go, how to
Yeah.
go about it, etc.
Yeah.
uh, one major issue is that our ecosystem as a whole is
Hmm.
not really as supportive in terms of, because number one, again we don't talk about it, a mother after a delivery has a high chance of postnatal depression, and I
Yeah.
think I did have it. I haven't gone through I haven't checked it through, but I could feel it, that I
Yeah.
had that depression even before knowing that my daughter has an issue for 2 days.
Yeah.
That's number one. Secondly, the other thing is that, uh, you know as far as most of these information out there is concerned, or support system out there is concerned, whether it's doctors, whether it's, there is no system where you can find a support group that you could go and know what really is coming your way. Or
Like
okay, these
families.
work, yeah,
Yeah.
family is there, but sometimes you need someone who has gone through the same journey as you are going through with regard to their child, so they're
Yes,
able to.
other families who've perhaps been in the same
Yes,
situation as you.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that is completely sort of negligent in India. I
Yeah.
did try to reach out. It was mostly America based, but you don't get information as to, which doctors to go, what next.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that as a new mom, no matter what you do, you're clueless.
Yeah.
And the normalcy, or the entire what is normal completely changes when you have a child with a particular condition.
Condition.
So
Yeah.
even for in a normal situation, what does it mean when you have a CHT, becomes a whole completely different story, and that is one of the key challenges that I would say that we had.
That you faced. Yeah. Um, Are there any other challenges? I mean, obviously, these are major challenges: postpartum depression, and of course, needing support other than, of course, your family who were there, people who had been through it, who could have helped you through it, or doctors, like you had mentioned. But were there any other challenges that you kind of grappled with during that time?
Well, obviously mental health and emotional challenges are really the
It's
main
like
one,
the whole, yeah,
which
yeah,
it's an another story altogether,
yeah,
especially in our country where we don't understand mental health at all. I would go out and say that. But having said so, and going back to the entire genesis of Ara Project,
yeah,
um, is the fact that we were blessed to have a financial support system. But
yeah,
the biggest challenge that you have for a CHT child is the finances. Now, as I pointed out, that there is very limited information available. There are just ballpark figures that you have,
yeah,
and as far as India is concerned, the information and data is even lesser. But as I said, ballpark figure, we know that about 2 lakh kids every year are born with
born with CHD.
CHT, and
Yeah,
about 70,000 of them need that intervention within the first year of their life.
yeah,
Ara Project has been in existence for 4 years. I mean, we
yeah.
started it on the first birthday of Ara. I mean, we did not have
Actually, yeah,
the
four
blessing,
years ago.
luxury, I don't know what to say, as far as celebrating her birthday with us.
Yeah,
But this is our way of making sure that we celebrate every birthday with uh, lots of lives that we are able to save. Um, so finances is most important. 70,000 I talked about is where they need every year surgery. Ara Project 4 years have been able to support 50 kids. Genesis Foundation has been supporting kids in thousands, but we're talking about 70,000 every year. It's that gap. As far as the CSR funding is concerned, I am not debating on the fact that this is more important or that is more important, but the fact of the matter is that financial matter does not come as a part of
yeah,
priority in most
yeah,
CSR decisions. It is
yeah.
not. You will see education, you will see cancer, you will see other things, but CHT is
There's not.
hardly
Yeah,
spoken about, where the gap is so wide. And I would also like to point out, we don't have Indian figures to it, just to show the gap, that in America itself, and it's the American Heart Association
association.
data, which is basically says that about the number of kids that die because of CHT is more than all the cancer related deaths of children combined together.
Wow.
And that's quite a thing.
Yeah.
And and contrary to that, the cancer research has almost 2.5 times more funding than the CHT
PhD.
research.
Wow.
So there is that much of gap. As I said, we don't know the Indian figures, but I think the biggest challenge as far as any CHD parent is concerned, just because I had the opportunity or I had the option, I
Yeah.
cannot undermine the fact that finances are very important. You have pre-surgery, you have surgery,
Post
post-surgery. It's a
surgery.
very long period. It
Yeah.
doesn't get over very soon. You need a longer period. You're talking about small babies going through a heart surgery.
Yeah.
So every penny counts.
Yeah. And the 70,000 children that are born with a critical CHD. Yeah? Like you had just said, like they need intervention within the first year of life, to
Correct.
be able to kind of, have higher chances at life. And I think Ara had a critical CHD.
Yes.
What was
Yes.
it? What was it? What was
So
it?
Ara had a very rare condition called Truncus Arteriosus,
Okay.
uh, which essentially is that something to the effect that the amount of blood that goes to the lungs and body did not have that differentiation. So yeah, it was, and in fact, her condition was such that she needed a corrective surgery at every growth stage of her life. So it
Oh,
was a lifelong process
okay.
for her. Uh, I mean, in some ways, you think so. As I said, her condition was very, very rare,
Yeah.
but it's not the same. I mean, it can be just a hole in the heart
Which is
where
a
uh,
one-time intervention.
one-time
Yeah.
intervention
Yeah.
versus different. It's a huge spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think on the second point that you made, about those statistics, the shocking statistics that you've given of the US, for example, I think in India as well, I mean, there's what, like a handful of NGOs, if
Yes,
that are in this CHD space. And if you're looking at the figures of 200,000 to 250,000, and you've got like five maybe NGOs that are working in that space, the need for awareness and fundraising is, it's really high.
absolutely, Simran. As I told you, we were there in the hospital for 4 months. We don't remember seeing anybody else other than Genesis Foundation. We ourselves, my husband and I, tried to raise funds
Funds.
before knowing about Genesis Foundation
Yeah.
uh, for a young boy of 8 to 9 years. He had a massive life-saving surgery at about a few months back when we went, and then had some issues that cropped up after
Hmm.
the surgery unexpectedly. And by that time, the family had already used all the possible resources they did not have. So they did reach out to my husband and me as to help, and we started because we got really attached with that boy.
Yeah.
And that time we just used we
Crowdfunding.
used the platform of friends
Oh,
and more importantly, a lot of my husband's colleagues through the one of those platforms that are there, which are not dedicated, but what do you call
crowdfunding.
crowdsourcing?
Yeah,
Crowdfunding.
crowdfunding. Yeah, yeah,
Lots of words sometimes.
yeah.
So crowdfunding platform, we did that. But there is that much that you can do because it's not I mean, other than that, I am yet to come across CHT efforts that are really translating on ground in terms of funding support, because
Yeah,
funding, I'm sorry to say, but funding, there is a huge gap and it is needed desperately.
I completely agree. So I think the last thing that I want to ask you is if you could just share some words for other families who could be going through something like this at the moment. It's not necessary that they're joining in, but maybe someone knows someone, or families who have perhaps lost a child. I mean, if you look at the founder trustees of Genesis Foundation as well, it's the same in the sense that the genesis of the foundation was them taking all that pain and that sorrow and kind of translating it into helping other children who are diagnosed with CHD, very similar to you. So, are there words that you want to share with them? Um, just, yeah,
Well, definitely, the uh, as I said that it's not very easy to go through a loss of your child
Yeah.
or when you see your child in a uh, it, unwell, let me put it, even a fever sometimes scare people, right?
Yeah.
Like in a normal circumstances, a fever would it, like, why is my child getting a fever, or
Exactly.
this that we I mean, I would admit, now I have another child, and it wasn't an easy decision to have him. There were a lot of battles that I had to go. I will also highlight that I have taken a whole lot of therapy over the years to reach where I have.
Yeah.
It's not easy, so I would urge everybody to please do not feel ashamed. Please seek therapy. It's very important. You would believe that you can deal a lot of things, but there's some things that are hidden under. And I think we go to a dentist when we have an issue, but we just don't go to a therapist like that. And I think we should, especially when you have had a certain level of trauma in life.
Yeah.
But having said that, the part of CHD is, and more importantly, is that while it's a very, very critical condition, it does have hope. It does have a lot of opportunity. What it just needs is people's compassion to come towards and give life to some of the kids. Yes, a
Yeah.
lot of the people that we support through Genesis Foundation and the Ara Project may not be watching us, Simran, but maybe if there's one person
Yeah.
who touched by our story,
Exactly.
that will make an F and is willing to just, you know, uh, part with a, or would like to give something.
Yes.
As Indians, we do give a lot. We have it in us that that a bit to give, but we like to give it to temples. We like to give it to so many other options. I mean, each to his own.
Yeah.
But healthcare is the most crippling expense that comes for a family. You have
Yeah.
no choice. You have to get those numbers for saving a life.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it will be extreme generosity and blessing if you're able to come and save a life. There's nothing more important than saving a life. um, I would also like to point out that the first thing Prema told me, and the first thing, and the thing that is very, very important, that as far as all individual donations are concerned, they are 100% going for a child's welfare and for the health costs that Genesis Foundation and the Ara Project is raising.
100%. Yes.
It's absolutely all individual, all that you as individuals, and I hope a lot of my friends and family have joined in today. And I would urge you that or maybe just make an emotional appeal today, that if I were to invite you for my daughter's birthday, you would have probably thought of coming with a gift. And maybe you can look at gifting someone life through the Ara Project, and that would mean a lot. As I mentioned, I have a young boy now. As in, Anami and I have a young boy now, and we really do believe that he's a blessing of all the 50 kids that we've been able to support through our project. And we hope to continue to celebrate Ara's birthday year after year with giving life to children and saving little hearts.
Thank you, Priyal. Um, I'm really grateful that you've been able to join us today. Ara lives on in our hearts every day at the foundation, and I'm just, I mean, I don't want to say happy, but I'm just really, really grateful that we've been able to kick off this week by having this conversation with you and hearing how you have tackled everything with such strength, and that Ara project has saved over 50 children in the last 4 years, and there are many, many more children that we're going to save together. So at the beginning of this CHD Awareness Week, as Priyal had said, if you would like to make a donation through the Ara project, you can visit our website, which is www.genesis-foundation.net. So if you're willing to give, please give. If you want to participate, because it is awareness and there is fundraising, they're two kind of separate things, but that go together. If you'd like to just participate, please follow us through the week of the activities that we're doing. Share this video. Just the point is to spread awareness and keep Ara's memory and let it live through this entire week and every day of every year. Thank you so much, Priyal. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today.
Thank you, Simran. Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you, everyone, for joining in.